welcome to the vlog for my Mass Media and Society class. Today we're going to be talking about Super Tuesday, which just happened a few days ago, and basically, what my reaction is to it and how I feel about the results of Super Tuesday. First of all, I'd like to acknowledge the fact that I am not a Republican and I'm not a Democrat. I am an independent. I will choose the person that I feel is best for the country. So continuing on, the two primary delegates that are leading leading the Democratic Party at the moment is Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders. Everybody else has dropped out and started to endorse either or delegate. Some things to consider about each of these certain Democratic nominees is that they have flaws in their policies that I don't think they can really see, or if they know about it, they're just trying to amp people up and tell them what they want to hear in order to get their vote, which is typically the case. I mean, I know in the last election, Donald Trump had mentioned that he was going to start building a wall. I haven't seen a wall. So, I mean, and he really pushed on that. And currently he's still pushing on that for this coming election, which may or may not play out for him. So Joe Biden has a lot of experience in politics. Actually attempted his first run at the presidency in 1987. So he's old. That's my take on it. He's old. So is Bernie Sanders. They're old. But one thing that people have been saying about Joe Biden is he is too moderate. A lot of the times in the media and the news, they're all, "Oh, Joe Biden's way too moderate," meaning he's personable. I mean, if you sit down with him and you have a conversation, you're gonna start to trust him because he knows how to relate to people and how to gain their trust and how to gain their respect and gain their soon-to-be vote. There's some policies that Joe Biden does have, such as he wants free college, so free education for all technically, which isn't technically possible. We'll talk about that here in a second because Bernie Sanders had said the same thing the past two times he's ran. This current time and the previous time. He wants co-workers to know how much another fellow co-worker is making, which I think is a very personal thing that we should have, because I work and I make a certain amount an hour, but do I want to tell people really how much I make? Just a random person, or if it's a coworker, like, "Oh yeah, I make more than you," that's going to cause more tension in the workplace rather than equality in the workplace, which is what he's shooting for, equality in the workplace by having everybody know how much each person is making. Joe Biden is mostly he's pushing hard on a progressive policy platform, meaning he wants to keep everything moving forward. He wants us to leave everything, that all the mistakes that happened in the past, but then fix them and build off those in the future to then build the country up, make it, as Donald Trump would say, great again. Also, healthcare, he wants to protect and build Obamacare again. He wants to, build it up, make it stronger, reinforce it, make it technically foolproof is what I'm getting from it, from whenever he's speaking. But I mean, good points. Not the best execution on how he wants to do it. Granted, I never been in politics, so I really wouldn't know. But I did some research on what other people have said that are in the political game as well. Joe Biden attracts a different age group than Bernie Sanders. So Joe Biden is mostly, 65 years old and up, is 48% of his voter demographic. On the other hand, if we go over to Bernie Sanders now, Bernie Sanders is, age group 18 years old to 29 years old. That was 61 of his voters. That's how old all of them were. They're very young, and they're very amped up because he wants to start a political revolution, meaning he wants to change everything radically. Just flat out, we're going to get rid of capitalism. We're going to start a socialist movement. And for those that don't know what socialism is it's a production, distribution, owned by a community, collectively owning a greater thing, meaning in this case the country. He wants the people to be able to control what's happening in their country versus these crooked politicians controlling everything. In a way, if you understand where I'm going with this. He's been in politics a very long time. He's spoken in Congress back when the Iraq War was going to start. He's been a mayor in New Jersey for, I think, 30 years, maybe. I believe so. Bernie Sanders' entire movement is moving forward, but getting rid of all the bad, just terminating all of the capitalism. He also wants to. He's got a different foreign policy plan, meaning he doesn't agree with the U.S.'s relationship with some Middle Eastern countries, such as like Saudi Arabia. He was caught in an interview recently saying that the Saudis were, and I quote, murderous thugs, which, I mean, if you're running for presidential office, it's probably not something you want to say to a group of people. I know Trump did, and he had some backlash on that, but Bernie Sanders can walk away clean with it, I suppose, because nobody really brings it up. Anyway, free college, back to that. Bernie Sanders' plan is to have the federal government kick in $2 in matching funds for each dollar that the states spend. Which, I mean, if you think about it, yes, it does add up, and it's going to add up to a lot of money, but not enough to pay for everybody. So then he goes on to say that he wants to then lower the cost of student loan rates down 2% for the current student loan holders, like myself, sitting in a dorm room that costs $6,000 a year. I need help paying for that. So I had to take out a loan. Now, the reason why he said, we're going to lower the rates is because people that already had loans are asking, what are you going to do for us? As well as he also mentioned that it's going to cost $750 billion to execute this plan. $750 billion. A lot of money. And then how he's planning on getting the money to fund this is he wants to take, 0.5% of stock trades, which does add up because there's many stocks going around, and 0.5% of that will add up very, very quickly, but not enough to pay for the students. He'd also take a tenth of a percent from bonds, not savings bonds, but other bonds that other people are holding, and then also the very small percentage of derivatives. Derivatives, my bad, pardon you. All over the span of 10 years, which is a long time. He's going to be in office for 4 years if he's elected, and if he's reelected, it's 8 years total. But Sanders also mentioned that he was going to be able to make $300 billion annually off of this plan, which was disproved by the Tax Policy Center earlier this year, and said that realistically speaking, we're only going to make maybe $51 billion a year. So actually, these politicians will say stuff to make you want to vote for them. Might it be true? Maybe. The plan is true. Data is wrong on Bernie Sanders' part. Decent plan, poorly executed, but it appeals to the younger crowd, which is what's going to get him more votes, get him more amped up. We're going to start a political revolution. We're going to get rid of capitalism. We're going to have free college, free education. It's going to be a close election between these two candidates in the Democratic Party going up against Trump. So like I said, I don't have a preference on who I would vote for. Again, I am an independent, so I will choose closer to election day on who I feel would be the best. But something I'd like to leave you as the audience with is how do you see your country in the next few years? How would you like to see it? I'll let you think about that, and then just write down in the comments below what you think. I'd like to hear your views. Maybe talk a little bit. All right. I hope you all have a great day. Take it.